Hello, my name is Taylor Rendo, and today I will be presenting the legal distinction between consensual police encounters and Fourth Amendment seizures. I will use the Whitaker case and several landmark case decisions to guide the understanding on this topic. The Fourth Amendment protects people from unreasonable searches and seizures. Not every interaction with police is considered a seizure. The courts say that an encounter becomes a seizure only if a reasonable person would not feel free to walk away. This is also where we get the quote, free to leave test from. This was first explained in the US v. Mendenhall case. When we take a look at Mary Whitaker's case and her situation, we can now see how that line is easily challenged. Whitaker was approached by a police officer who claims that he was having a casual conversation with a civilian. Whitaker later testifies that she felt pressured. She felt like she could not say no to the officer or refuse in any way. She hands over the pipe because of this, not on her own willingness. She really thinks that she has no other option. There really are many cases that can help guide the issue between casual encounters with police and police seizures. However, these are the three cases I'm using to guide the conversation in this topic. We're using the Mendenhall case, which emphasizes the absence of force or coercion. We will also discuss the Royer case, which then talks about how consensual conversation with an officer can turn into a detention. Lastly, we will discuss the Hodari case that clarifies seizure happens only when someone is physically stopped or gives in to police authority. How do these cases apply to Whitaker? Well, in Mendenhall, just like Whitaker, there was no restraint. In Royer, Whitaker also felt trapped by the situation, even without being moved. And unlike in Hodari, she didn't run. So, does this really mean she consented? Another landmark case important to note is State v. Poole. In Poole, a Florida court ruled that there was no seizure because the suspect voluntarily engaged. But Whitaker's case is different. Her past run-ins with police and how the officer spoke to her suggests she didn't really have a choice. Important elements to note in Whitaker's case are the show of authority and consent. The legal idea of a show of authority comes into play in her case. This can include tone, presence, and even the implied consequences. Her consent is not valid if it is the result of fear or pressure. Whitaker may have said yes in this situation, but the environment and the officer's conduct do matter, and they need to be taken into account. Whitaker's case is a great example of how thin the line is between voluntary cooperation and unconstitutional coercion. Courts must look closely at the full context of the situation. Whitaker's experience reminds us that what looks like consent on paper may not truly be consent. Here's a list of my sources cited, including the materials I referenced from the cases of Mendenhall, Royer, Hodari, Poole, and also Whitaker's transcripts and affidavit that I used for this presentation.